Good evening, Marshall Redick investors. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight for our webinar on the Indianapolis, Indiana market. My name is Kristen Tabar. I am a realtor and a real estate advisor here with Marshall Redick Real Estate. And we are going to chat tonight all about the Indiana market. So we're going to get started here, talking a little bit about Marshall Redick Real Estate and what we do. For those of you who have been to previous events of ours and who are already working with us, I see a lot of familiar names. Welcome back. I see a lot of new investors and new clients. So who is Marshall Redick Real Estate? We are a licensed broker here. Our main office is located here in Newport Beach, California, and we sell property in 16 markets across the U.S. with our reps, such as Clay, who is in Indianapolis, that we're going to speak to a little later tonight. But we're here all the way from California to Florida to Indianapolis, selling property to investors like yourself. We also represent sellers and buyers here locally. We are a private money lender. For those investors who are unable to secure conventional financing for whatever reason that may be, we do offer private money options so that they are able to purchase property as well. We also offer lending options for those investors who would like to be the bank, as we say. And we're also a local property manager here in California. We manage properties all the way from Orange County up to LA. And have a few properties under management now, and we are building that business every day. Clay, if you would please. Next slide. Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us this evening, and welcome to Indianapolis. We are so glad that you guys have interest.
Hey, oops, can you go back one more? Sorry.
Oh.
Please back one more. There we go.
Thank you. All right, sorry about that, guys. We next one, Clay. Want to talk a little bit about Marshall Redick and what our mission is. Our mission is to help investors such as yourselves who are listening on the line tonight to purchase property, increase your portfolios, and become wealthy through real estate. We're not a fix and flip company. We're not trying to give you extra work and extra jobs. We want to build that long-term wealth over time, and we want to do that through investing. We are a team. Real estate is a team sport, and that team is our lenders, it's our reps like Clay, it's myself, your real estate advisor, and it's our property manager, and it's everyone who supports you through your investment process. And we are going to talk a little bit more about that tonight. Next slide, Clay, please. I'll go ahead and get you introduced and we'll get started. All right, so why Indianapolis? The reason you guys all joined us and hopped on tonight. We have been selling in Indianapolis for over a decade. We have been attracted to this market for the strong job market, the strong growth. It's highly affordable for investors. The stability over the last 30 years has been phenomenal. They didn't see a huge crash there like we did here in California back in 2008. It's been very steady, very stable, and above all, the incredible ability for high cash flow here. I personally love this market. My husband and I own 2 properties here. We're positive cash flow on those 2 properties, about $750 a month, which is excellent. We have been a client of our property management there for the last couple of years. We actually started with another manager, and that manager started dropping the ball. So we started working with Barrett Asset Management, and Their service has been absolutely incredible. They've got an online portal which makes it really easy for investors to check the status of the rent payments, check the status of any maintenance that needs to be done. The deposits are direct, so my husband and I collect our monthly payments directly into our bank account. There's no paper pushing around. We don't have to follow anything. And best of all, the team works really hard to ensure that our property stays rented. And we've had one vacancy in one of those properties in the last 4 years. And Ivan Barrett, the property manager, and his team at Barrett Asset Management were able to get that property painted, fixed up, rent ready, and rented in less than 30 days. So we really, really love them, love the team over there. And importantly to you guys, our buyer's agent out there, Mr. Clay Fleener, who we're going to speak to tonight. He's been a licensed agent out in Indianapolis for a couple of years now and really represents everything that we look for in a strong real estate agent. He's responsive for our investors, he's dependable, he's very hardworking, and he really goes above and beyond, which is what we want our agents to do for our investors, finding properties, making offers, and really doing everything that he can to ensure the process runs smoothly. So without further ado, Clay, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you and let you take it away.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and thanks again for joining our webinar this evening, and thank you for your interest here in Indianapolis. We're looking really forward to hopefully working with a few of you guys, and yeah, let's get the ball rolling here this evening. So tonight's presentation, we're just going to be discussing Marshall Redick regional reps here. Why should you invest in Indianapolis, which Kristen did a great job of already explaining. The real estate and rental markets here in Indianapolis, which are booming right now and looking forward to hopefully increasing over the next couple of years, which it should, and also discussing how we handpick the cash flow positive investments, which is obviously a huge aspect when going over these. So we're just going to discuss a little background on myself and my managing broker, Ivan Barrett. I joined the team about a little over 2 months ago. How time flies here. Started out originally at Century 21 here in Indianapolis, probably in the top 3 largest brokerages here in Indianapolis. So gained a lot of education and experience through working with them, and decided to join Ivan's team just based on his growth over the last 5 years within the industry, and obviously his positive reputation within the city. So Barrett Asset Management was founded in 2011. Ivan Barrett, he's been a professional real estate income investor for 15 years now. One of our key aspects for the clients here is a client portal platform which allows for 24/7 transparency throughout. And as Kristen mentioned, phenomenal response time. We can work with you guys whether it's 9 in the morning or 4 in the morning. We're here to serve you guys. So we won't leave you, as soon as we close on a deal, we won't leave you dry there. And currently, Barrett Asset Management has $60 million in total assets under management. So phenomenal year-over-year growth here. And I bet some of you are wondering, why Indianapolis? I'm sure some of you have flown over Indianapolis, maybe have the general idea, the stereotype that we've got a lot of corn here, but we might not have much else. We're here tonight to convince you otherwise. Not only do we have the attractions, wonderful job growth, the affordability is key here, but obviously the prices versus rental rates is huge, and we only find the properties with positive cash flow. We want to find you a property with over 3% cash-on-cash return, and that's our bare minimum. We're going to try and find you even better deals here in Indianapolis. So let's continue going down here. What is in Indianapolis besides corn? After the Super Bowl here, we decided to put a huge amount of money into creating a arts and culture hub here. The Indianapolis Repertory Theater is one of Indianapolis' oldest theaters. Currently, have probably 3 or 4 plays going on, so that's a huge, huge cornerstone here in Indianapolis for our arts and culture hub. And we also have the Indiana Central Canal here. It's pretty similar to San Antonio down there with the canal. Obviously a huge tourist destination. We're getting a lot of rental properties growth down along that area. One of our largest universities in the city, Indiana University, Purdue University, or IUPUI as we like to call it here, is currently expanding their campus down there and attracting a lot of foreign students throughout here and also adding job growth around the region. So this area is very, very up and coming as we speak, and each time I drive downtown, it's an ever-changing landscape. I can barely find my way around there because it's always changing. And of course, our favorite thing to talk about here is Indianapolis Colts. Huge attraction here in Indianapolis, and we've somehow managed to go from a basketball city to a football city in a short span of about 30 years. To continue here, there's obviously more than corn in Indiana. We've got the Indianapolis State Museum, we've got the Art Museum here, and the Isle George Museum, which features a lot of Native American art here. These are huge destinations within Indianapolis, and it's just the continuation of the growth of the cultural and arts community here in Indianapolis. And I'm sure besides basketball, football, you guys all recognize the Indianapolis 500. This year is the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500, and probably our biggest event of the year here in Indianapolis. We draw on average about 200,000 fans into the city for the race alone, and it wouldn't surprise me if there are already some tailgaters out the speedway as we speak, preparing for the race out there. And of course, the White River State Park, Indianapolis, we try and strive to find the perfect balance of urban living and green space throughout Indianapolis to just make it as cosmetically pleasing and aesthetically pleasing as possible here in the city. So we've got a lot of great walkways throughout Indianapolis, and it's honestly a delight just to walk through Indianapolis, and you honestly could not have said that 10 years ago. So we have made huge strides in the downtown marketplace here. Going ahead here, here's just a few facts about Indianapolis here. We're currently the 14th largest city in the United States. Our claim to fame is amateur sports capital of the world, which is slowly but surely changing here. Events, as I previously mentioned, Super Bowl 46 here, NCAA Women's Final Four this year, phenomenal turnout for that event. We hope to have the men's Final Four back here within the next 4 years. Obviously, the Brickyard 400, the U.S. Grand Prix, and the Indy 500. And as I touched on earlier, we offer a multitude of cultural, educational, sports, and dining opportunities throughout the downtown area, all the way up to north, east, west, south. The downtown marketplace is really growing and expanding through Indianapolis here, and we're seeing a lot of positive results throughout. And going into that, we rank as the #1 market for real estate investment and investors in the country. And primarily, this is because of the affordability here. And as Kristen touched on earlier, our rates here and over time, we did not take a big hit during the last recession when it came to median home sale values and foreclosures here. So that's a great key point here in Indianapolis. It's just the stability factor within the downtown marketplace and around central Indiana here. Jumping ahead here, location, just on this map here, you can just see where you can drive within a day's time here. Obviously, Chicago, Atlanta, New York City, St. Louis. So you can really reach a good portion of the U.S. within a day's drive here, which makes this an extremely positive destination to be at. And also, that's why we have such a large job market for distribution jobs, just because we consider ourselves a crossroads of America. We have the most interstates intersecting through our city in the United States, so that makes it a huge destination for distribution jobs. Touching on that, just going to do a quick little rundown on the business community here. 3 Fortune 500 companies located here in Indianapolis. Eli Lilly Pharmaceuticals is probably the largest employer one of the largest employers here in Indianapolis. It's one of our main staples here in Indianapolis. And of course, IU Health, a big increase in health technology here. We pride ourselves, or actually our new nickname is Silicon Valley, Silicon Valley, because of that. So we're seeing a big increase in tech jobs out here, which is phenomenal. No one would have ever thought that probably 5-10 years ago here in Indianapolis. And just kind of touching on the distribution, we're home to 1,500 distribution firms employing over 100,000 workers. And of course, probably the largest would be FedEx here. And in 2015, CNBC ranked Indiana #1 in lowest cost of doing business in the U.S. And touching on education, probably the 4 largest universities here in Indiana would be IUPUI, which is right downtown by the canal here, always expanding their campus and their infrastructure base downtown. We've got Butler University. I'm sure most of you can equate it with the Butler basketball team there. But this university went from probably somewhere between 5,000 and 7,000 students about 15 years ago, and now we're upwards of 25,000 students over there. Located on the north side here, wonderful university. Got the University of Indianapolis on the south side, and Indiana University School of Medicine downtown. So we're putting a huge focus in, as I mentioned, in healthcare, technology, and medicine. And now we're just going to run down Indianapolis by the numbers here. Currently, there's over 1.6 million residents within the 465 Belt Loop here in Indianapolis, and the population has grown 16.4% since 2000. The interesting trend that we have seen over the last few years is millennials have actually taken over baby boomers, and obviously that equates to more rental properties, which is a great staple to have here in Indianapolis. The cost of living is 7.3% below the U.S. average, and the median home price currently is a little over $148,000, with the median income of a little over $52,000 here. So in the Indy business and the local government here, Indianapolis ranks 5th among the least expensive large cities for doing business, which is phenomenal. Top 10 best cities to start a new career. Obviously, that's why I came back here after going to school in Boston to find a great place to start my career here. And of course, that all equates back to the affordability factor here in Indianapolis, which is phenomenal for us millennials here. And Indiana is financially secure with state surplus and rainy day funds, which is always great to have. You never know when the next recession could be looming there. And Indiana has created over 40,000 new jobs last year, second only to Texas, and 6 times the national average. The Indianapolis job market here, we rank among top 10 places to relocate, and that has to do with a lot with Eli Lilly's, Anthem, IU Health, which we're all seeing booming job growth there. 4.17% job growth in the metro area in 2015, and we only expect that to go higher at this point. And we're also number 7 for top 10 cities for tech jobs here in Indianapolis, going back to that Silicon Valley here. And we're going to jump into here. If you guys see on your webinar dashboard here, and you click on the handout expansion, there's actually a link to this handout. This has some phenomenal data. This was actually released less than a week ago, and this just gives you a better picture of some of the great statistics about Indianapolis, whether it be job growth, population, rental rates, attractions. It literally has it all in there. So I definitely advise you guys to download this packet if you guys are serious about investing in Indianapolis, because this will give you a full picture on currently what's going on in the handout. And also, if you guys cannot find that, there's a link below down here that you can just copy and paste and put in your browser, and you can find that data packet online. And I'm going to hand it back over to Kristen here for our first poll.
Thank you very much, Clay. All right, everybody, wake up a little bit. Hopefully none of you are snoozing out there. We're going to do a couple of poll questions here. We're going to go ahead and launch the first one. All right, so here we go. I'm interested in the Indianapolis real estate market because, and you've got 5 choices here. Are you interested in stable and growing economy and job market? Is it the good school system? Is it for positive cash flow? Is it personal reasons? Maybe your family lives there, that's where you were born. Your business has an office in that market. And finally, I have no idea which market I like, and I ended up here somehow. I want you guys to know that your answers are totally confidential. Nobody else on the webinar tonight is going to see your answers, so don't be afraid. I'll give you guys just a couple more seconds. We're going to wait until we get most of your votes in here. And be honest, if you have no idea, let us know. We are happy to talk to you about why you're not sure and what Indianapolis has to offer. So let's see, we'll go ahead and we got most of you here. And we're going to go ahead and share those results. So 6% said the stable and growing economy and job market. And nobody said school systems. I'm shocked. I speak to so many investors who are really into investing here because of the good schools. So this is really surprising to me. Something new happened tonight. 67% for the positive cash flow, 3% for personal reasons, and 24% of you are a little lost out there, need a little bit of help. So fear not, that's what we are here for. All right, so thank you guys so much. We're going to hop back into the presentation. I'm going to hand it back over to Clay, and let's give some of you guys an idea of why Indy is a great investment. All right, Clay, go ahead.
All righty. Thanks, guys, for working on that poll there. And we'll go into the school districts here a little bit, see if we can convince you otherwise on those school districts here. But just kind of wanted to go a little further into the Indy real estate market here. Money Magazine, Inman News, rate Indianapolis as the nation's #1 city for making money renting homes. And we'll go into some graphs here talking about the increase of rental growth over especially over the last 2 to 3 years here. I'm sure that's appealing for all you guys here. And kind of going on that school and education standpoint, there are about 17.5 students per teacher in Indianapolis metro area, which is an extremely low rate. And of course, that's primarily just the public schools there. And of course, when you go into the private schools, we have some great private schools here. International School of Indiana, Cathedral High School, and Bishop Chatard here, all above 8 out of 10 ratings, and probably Cathedral and International School are probably 9 or 10s there. And those go as low as 3 students per teacher there. So a phenomenal education atmosphere here in Indianapolis. Also, obviously, a very desirable feature here, the property tax rate is below the national average, which is always phenomenal. Trust me, it's real nice. And the median cost of homes is about 30% below the national average at $148,000. So in here, we're just going to discuss this little trend line here. The blue line, it comes from the National Association of Realtors, just discussing the home prices here. As you can see, it was very stable during the recession here. Obviously, everyone took a hit here, but we bounced back quick. That's always the most important part coming out of a recession, seeing that positive trend line there. And the gray line here is from Marshall Redick. This is just their trend line, just giving you an idea of where the market, of the projections of where the market will be here in the future, which is always a good indicator. And as mentioned, there's been no major decreases over time here, especially now that the economy is more stable, the job growth is more stable. So a lot of great things happening here in Indianapolis. And as mentioned, we're going to just kind of go into this Zillow Rent Index, and this is an average right now. From February 2016, the average is a little over 1,100 here. And of course, that can always vary depending on what part of Indianapolis or central Indiana we're choosing here. We can find rental rates per month over 2,000. We can find them actually probably the lowest you can find nowadays probably be somewhere between 550 and 650, but of course now then we get to talk about C-class and D-class properties. But for the luxury properties, the B-class properties, probably the average would be between, I would say, probably about 1,200 to 1,300 on average there. So this is a great graph just to illustrate, especially the growth since 2013 there. Always love to see the trend line bouncing up like that. So in here, we're just going to touch base, just kind of give you guys a layout of central Indiana here, especially Indianapolis. When I'm handpicking homes and just kind of doing my research to Indianapolis, I really like to kind of looking at the chart to the left here, or the map to the left here, really want to find properties, Pike Township, Washington Township, Lawrence Township, of course Indianapolis located in Center Township here. It's hard to find. We really like the base when we're finding a property. We really like to stick to the 1% rule, where the purchase price, or excuse me, the rental rate is 1% of the purchase price there. It's a little harder to find downtown, so that's why we can stick to Pike Township, Washington Township, and Lawrence Township up north there. And then just kind of looking out here on the right here on the map here, really like to find that are primarily the luxury properties, A-class properties up in Carmel, Indiana, north of downtown, up in Hamilton County, Zionsville, over there in Boone County, Brownsburg and Hendricks County. Those areas, they were cornfields 15 to 20 years ago, and they have just seen such a boom in the housing market. New builds out there, the houses are fresher, of course less initial repair costs out there. So that's really where we want to be for the luxury and A-class properties and B-class properties also. And also want to mention Fishers, a little southeast of Carmel there. That's also a very popular destination right there. And Carmel, Fishers, Noblesville, Westfield, Brownsburg, great schools all across the board there. You're going to be finding 8, 9, 10 rated schools up there. So if you guys have any concerns about the schools in Indianapolis, we'll find you a good home up in one of those areas up there. And just kind of going in, talking about how we handpick the properties here. We're never going to push a certain property on there. We're always going to find, we really want to develop and figure out your specifications, what kind of properties you're looking for here. Of course, want to get an idea of what you want to spend, school ratings, location, obviously a huge factor there, but we're going to take all that into consideration, and I'm going to go through every property possible and find you guys the perfect property. I don't want you guys to think that just the properties online are the properties you guys stick with, are going to be forced into. If needed, we'll spend 6 months to a year finding that perfect property for you. Hopefully it takes a little less time than that, but we'll find it eventually here. So we're going to jump into here onto some of the current listings available on the site here. And again, you guys are not stuck or forced into these properties. I just want to give you a general idea kind of what's on the market here and how I came to a conclusion to put these properties on the site. So here we got 1010 Yellow Pine Court. This is on the north side of Indianapolis here. As you can see, annual cash-on-cash return. That's obviously the biggest part. Like I mentioned earlier in the presentation, I'm not going to put a property online that has cash-on-cash returns lower than 3%. And as you can see, 4% cash-on-cash return here, monthly cash flow of $146. You got 3 bedrooms, over 2,000 square feet. The home was built in 1980. List price $144,000, monthly rent of $1,325, and a low initial repair cost. That's the biggest thing I want to find, unless told otherwise. I don't want you guys to have to spend money unless it's just cosmetic features, slapping some new paint on the walls. That's all I want you guys to do when you're purchasing a property here. And if there are any issues, we're going to get those taken care of during the inspection here. So this is why I picked this property up here. It's in a great neighborhood, good school districts, it's A-rated, and it's basically move-in ready. Maybe you have to paint 1 or 2 rooms, but other than that, we're good to go. Just want to give you guys some pictures of the inside here. As you can see, hardwood floors, new cabinetry, new appliances, new carpet, painted trim, new windows. This is what I look for in a property. This is my ideal property right here. And this is something that, honestly, you come into, you're not going to have to do much to, unless you want to paint it a more neutral color, maybe white in the bedroom. That's all I want you guys to have to do on these. Going forward here, here's another A-rated property here. This one's little northwest of Indianapolis here. It's pretty close to our main bar district here in Indianapolis called Broad Ripple, a very desirable location here. Probably, and sorry if I sound redundant here, but probably 5 to 10 years ago, Broad Ripple, of course, was our main bar district. But over the last 2 to 3 years, there's been a huge increase of infrastructure improvements there, building organic marketplaces, new bars, new restaurants. It's becoming a main staple here for residents and visitors here in Indianapolis. And this is extremely centrally located, close to this district here. So this is something I would expect to find a renter on this probably within 10 to 15 days, absolutely tops here. And as you can see here, the cash-on-cash return, phenomenal cash-on-cash return here, almost 6.3% annually, a low initial repair cost here, a solid list price of $144,000, and a little over 1,100 square feet. We'll just kind of jump to the pictures here, and as you can see, new appliances, countertops in the kitchen, hardwood floors, absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous bathroom in there. A great little layout for a little over 1,100 square feet. New windows, so some really wonderful improvements within this property. We'll go ahead and jump into one more A-class property, and I'm happy to mention we actually just got this one under contract with Marshall Redick client here a couple days ago. And as you can see, his main needs were he wanted a good school district, and as I mentioned, Brownsburg has phenomenal schools, 8 to 10 rated schools out there, a 4-bedroom, really good price out there, $149,000. It's really hard to find a 4-bedroom in Brownsburg under $160,000, really probably under $170,000. So we feel like we got a phenomenal deal out there. We feel like there's going to be low days on the market initially there. We got a few things to touch up in there, but thankfully it's primarily cosmetic out there. And hopefully we're probably going to hit our initial repair costs of about $2,000, like I mentioned, all cosmetic, thankfully. Just kind of give you guys an idea of just kind of the inside of the property. Like I mentioned, newer windows, some newer appliances in there, new carpet, new hardwood floors. And again, these are the things I really want to find when we're looking for these A-class properties. And of course, the location is probably the biggest factor, especially in Brownsburg, with the school districts, access to downtown. This property really does have it all. Now we'll kind of go into some B-class properties here in Avon, Indiana, just a little south of Brownsburg here, so pretty close with school districts there. Probably some of them can drop down to probably 6 to 8 rated down there. Of course, you're going to find some higher if you're looking at the private schools also, which is really nice. Of course, you got the cash-on-cash return, a 3.65%. Really good price there at $127,000, and again, the monthly rent there, really just trying to get as close to that 1% of purchase price as possible, and of course, initial repair cost, I believe should honestly maybe lower than $1,000 on this. I usually like to put at least $1,000 just as a surplus. You never know. Never want to put an initial repair cost at $0. Just to give you guys a little safety blanket, just in case there. Then we'll just kind of go through some of the pictures here. As you can see, I mentioned some newer carpet, great backyard there. That's a huge thing here in Indiana. We like our backyards. We like our fire pits. We don't really go to the bars. We occasionally, but we're for the entertaining at home. So that's a huge desirability factor for the renters there, having that nice backyard there. It's fenced in. It's got a lot of great upgrades in there. The fireplace, the hardwood floors, fresh paint. It's really got it all. And we'll kind of jump ahead here to one more B-class property here. Again, good cash-on-cash return, initial repair cost, may not even need $500 in there, a good monthly rent. This one's located a little bit east, kind of a little bit closer to the airport out there, but at the same time, easy access to the highways. I'd probably say about 10 to 15 minute drive to downtown Indianapolis. Can get up to Carmel, Indiana, within about 10 minutes on the interstates there. So even if it's outside of the Indianapolis limits, you've got easy access to all the major points here in central Indiana. And obviously the drivability factor here in Indiana is even during rush hour, we're always moving. So that's always a nice part here in Indianapolis. And we'll just kind of go through some of the pictures here. Again, for B-Class, great updates throughout, great backyard, hardwood floors, fireplace, and this is currently vacant, so this one I consider move-in ready. Just needs a solid offer to come in. And then we'll kind of jump down to one of our duplexes here. This one's actually located on the near north side, pretty close to the state fairgrounds over here. Both sides are for sale. We've actually got one other duplex for sale here. The rent out there for both sides is a little over $1,000. List price $85,000. Each side has 2 bedrooms and 1 bath, and got solid annual cash-on-cash return of over 6.8%. Which is obviously your cash-on-cash return is probably going to be a little bit higher when it comes to these C-class properties. We'll just kind of jump in here, just kind of look at some of the new features in there. Recently installed carpet about 3 weeks ago. Got some hardwood floors, updated bathrooms in there, updated kitchens, comes with the appliances in there. And again, extremely centrally located, probably about 7-10 minute drive to downtown, down Meridian Street here. So of course, location's a very, very big desirability point there. And then we're going to get back over to Kristen here, and she's going to jump on poll number 2 here.
All right, thank you, Clay. Everybody, welcome back for poll number 2. I am going to give you guys a couple minutes to answer this one just like we did for the last one, and this time we're going to talk about financing. So your next question here, my plan is to use the following method of purchase. You've got 5 choices here again: conventional financing, private financing, my self-directed IRA, a cash purchase, or a home equity loan against your primary residence. Again, remember, these results are completely confidential. I might post them on the 405 billboard so people can see them driving by on the freeway, but other than that, nobody will know. Just kidding. But go ahead, take a few minutes, and if you're not sure, that's totally fine. Again, we're here to talk through the options that you have, what might work the best for you. And I'll give you guys just a couple more seconds. I think we've got most of the votes in here. All right, so let's see what everyone said. All right, 82% of the party said conventional financing. Great feedback here. I always recommend conventional financing if it's an option. If it's not, we want to go with your next best method to suit your own financial goals and needs. 9% here on private financing, and in third place with a 3-way tie are self-directed IRAs, cash, and home equity lines of credit. Very interesting poll here. Conventional financing won by a landslide. All right, so we'll have Clay get right back into this. And just kidding, everyone. I'm trying to take up comedy. I'm not very good at it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and continue the conversation here. So we're just talking about financing, and 82% of you are looking to go conventional, and we will hook you up with our preferred lender. You see his information here on the screen. His name is Brett Gilliland. He has been working with AmeriFirst and with our Marshall Redick investors, and some of the reasons that we love the team over here at AmeriFirst: number one, they're a direct lender, and what that means is everything is in-house. Your processor, your underwriter, your loan officer, they all work together under the same roof, and that allows them to get your paperwork done and get the process done very quickly. They also do a full pre-approval and get that to you before you make offers on property. A lot of the other lenders, a lot of major banks, you walk in, you tell them your credit score, you tell them what you make, and you tell them what you want your approval letter to say. And then they collect a bunch of documents later. So what Brett's going to do is he's going to ask you for a list of documents up front so he can get you pre-approved before you make offers. This drastically reduces the amount of risk for your loan and really increases the chances that your transaction is going to close and that it's going to close on time. They're also very responsive. We've been working with AmeriFirst Financial for 12 years now, and we have a proven track record with them as our lender to get our deals closed for our investors. Investment financing is what they specialize in, so this is what they do, working with our investors every single day to make sure those loans get closed. So take a couple minutes, jot down Brett's information, and if you're interested in conventional financing, we'll get you connected with him so you can get started and see what your buying power is. Clay, thank you very much. As another added incentive for Marshall Redick investors, AmeriFirst also gives a credit for your appraisal up to $450. And this is available for all of our investors in any of the markets where AmeriFirst is licensed to lend, which is almost every single one that we invest in. And this is something that when you use them for your financing, you'll see when you close your transaction. So there's a $450 savings right there, which is really tremendous when you're buying a property. And that's available to you. All right, so what is the most important, some people say, myself included, aspect of a real estate rental property ownership? It's your it's your property manager. One of our reps has a real fun saying that I am going to steal now. You date your agent and you marry your property manager. So Clay is going to take you through the process of purchasing your property. He's going to help you write the contract, and he's going to walk you through the sale. But then what? Once that transaction closes, now Ivan Barrett and the team of managers at Barrett Asset Management take over, and they manage your property. So they have all the interactions with the tenants. They're going to screen tenants for your to live in your property. They're going to collect applications. They're going to market your property when it's vacant. And they've been doing business with our investors for many, many years. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm a client myself, and Barrett Asset Management is definitely one of the top management companies that we work with, period. So without further ado, I am actually going to turn it over to the man himself. You guys are in for a treat, Mr. Ivan Barrett.
Kristen, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Hello. You guys got me loud and clear. That's great. So hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on the webinar tonight. Thanks for that great introduction, Kristen. It's awesome to be on board. Full disclosure, guys. I am riding shotgun with a fellow entrepreneur of mine, a colleague of mine, and we're coming back from a two-day conference in St. Louis. So we're somewhere in the countryside, just hit the Indiana border, and a rainstorm. I hope you guys can hear me okay. How am I coming in?
Loud and clear, Ivan.
Oh,
good over here.
Good. All right, thanks, Kristen. So I don't have the slides I usually have in front of me, so I'm not sure what you guys are looking at, but Kristen did a great summary of what we do. I won't go into too much detail on and repeat what she said, but in short, my firm manages millions of residential assets for clients all over the country, and even some out of country. We've got a great team that ranges from the maintenance technicians who handle nearly every work order in-house, to our property managers who market the properties, source residents, and also our office staff that helps underwrite those residents or run those background checks and make sure that we're doing the best possible risk management we can, because as Kristen said, you and as the client and me as the property manager are getting married. We care just as much as you do that it's a good marriage, free from as many headaches as possible, and that all starts up front with good tenant selection, verifying income, rental history, judgments. We even run the terrorist watch list now, sex offender, all kinds of national database, taking a hard look at that credit and verifying that income. It really is a team sport at Barrett Asset Management. We've got a lot of great people that handle every aspect of the boots on the ground, all the way up to what we call asset management, which is putting together your financial packages, making sure you've got something very easy to hand over to your accountant at year-end for tax time. And we also scrub everything that Clay is doing. When I say scrub, I mean we also take a look at it. Clay's meeting with the managers all the time, not only taking our market rents that he can get online via our MLS, but also just talking with the managers, boots on the ground. Hey guys, what do you think we could rent this for? We have those dedicated managers who only work on our single-family residential, and they do a really good job at it. I won't go on too much more here. My favorite part is Q&A, so I'll stay on as long as you need to answer any questions. Or Kristen, if I missed anything, again, I'm coming off of a long conference. Please fire away and let me know what I can cover for you.
All right, Ivan, I do have one quick question, if you wouldn't mind covering just really quickly for us now. How do you screen the tenants?
Yes. So I get that all the time. So my dad is an attorney, and he owned rental properties growing up, and so I got my first taste of rental property by mowing his yards all summer long. And Dad always said, you eliminate 95% of your problems by picking good tenants up front, and we still hold to that truth, to that philosophy at BAM, Barrett Asset Management. So first and foremost, the quickest indicator of whether they're going to be a good resident or not is their credit. What kind of credit their shape, what kind of shape their credit is in. We search judgments, liens. It's my understanding that Clay's been showing you guys some A and B and even some C properties. We take a hard look at their history. Our criteria is 3 times income. Usually any kind of felony is a deal breaker. Especially on the A and B properties, we set the standards very high for folks that obviously care about their credit and have good income. And those A and B assets, the important thing is having those residents, those tenants, when they care about their credit, we as the management company always have a big stick in our hand we can use, and that is the threat of hurting or destroying their credit if they don't play ball and don't perform well as good tenants. But you're looking at suburban properties, AB properties, in good school districts. In Indianapolis, there is way more demand for that type of housing from good working professionals, families, high credit individuals. There's plenty of supply of those. So there's no reason not to set the bar high. And again, the fewer headaches I can create for my team up front by setting that bar high, the better the marriage goes.
Thank you, Ivan, very much. I hope that answered that question for some of you out there who were asking how the tenants are screened. Ivan, I've got one more for you for now, and that is, what separates you from other property managers?
Oh, I love that question. So what separates me from other managers, real estate's the only thing I've done all my life. If any of you are fans of Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers, you'll understand that I've already got my 10,000 hours in. I'm probably closer to 30,000 hours practicing real estate. We work really hard to hire the best people, and we are at a size now where every client still counts, but we're big enough to where we've got a full in-house maintenance staff of trained professionals, so we can deliver those services to our clients at a cheaper cost. And then when you marry great people with great technology and tools, it's very successful. So we have an online platform. We have full use of that technology so that our clients can communicate directly with their manager, directly with our full-time accountant, directly with our operations team on a host of issues, from chasing down HOA issues some of these neighbors have, to figuring out, gosh, a host of different issues that could come up with a property, from accounts receivable to bidding out different capital improvement projects. Literally anything and everything, we have a solution for it. And then we just have some of the best clarity 24/7, 365. You don't have to get somebody on the phone or have to connect with somebody to know when your lease is up, get a copy of your lease, when your resident made their payment, what work orders have been requested, or pull up a history. The Schedule E for your property comes out within days of January, automatically emailed to you and published to your portal. There's just a host of things that you can get true insight into your asset without having to track somebody down. Of course, we'd love to hear from you, but we love the fact that we can put all that at our clients' fingertips without needing to track down a human being to get it.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Like Ivan mentioned, their team is available 24/7 every single day of the week at all hours with the online portal, and their clients receive that information almost instantly. My husband
Kristen,
and I know
hey,
right
Kristen,
away. Yeah. Yep.
I got one more thing. I'm not sure if it's on the slide because I can't see. But folks, if you call me randomly and you've got one house in Indianapolis, it's 10% of the rent and 75% leasing fee, and that's non-negotiable. If that price is too high for you, if you're coming in off the street, then you simply have to call the next guy on your list to get management services. That's not true for Marshall Redick clients. Because you're a part of the network, we discount that management fee 20%, 10 to 8, and we also cut that leasing fee for anything over $1,000 a month down to half the first month rent. And if you don't believe me that one house is more expensive fee off the street, feel free to call me and text me and tell me you're not with Marshall Redick or you're not affiliated with the network, and you'll see there's a big discount that we don't offer to everybody.
Thanks, Ivan, for that little tidbit. And like I mentioned, you guys, Ivan's team is one of the best that we work with, if not the best management company that we work with. So definitely the way to go when you're investing in Indianapolis. And Ivan, if we've got any more questions, we're going to try to wrap this up. And if you guys have questions and we don't get to them tonight, I do sincerely apologize, but I promise you we will follow up with you tomorrow and make sure you get all those questions answered, whether they're for myself, for Clay, or for Ivan. We will make sure that we address your questions. Ivan, thank you so much. We are going to push right through here to the finish line, but it was a pleasure having you join us tonight. Thank you for taking time from your road trip to be with us tonight.
Yeah, one more thing, Kristen.
Go ahead, go right on ahead.
Yeah, one more thing, everybody. So we are a big team. We manage a lot of assets. I got a lot of people that work for you. Every client has my cell phone. It's 317-590-1978. I don't give that out to tenants or vendors or anybody else, but every client has my personal mobile. Again, call me anytime, 317-590-1978. Thanks again, Kristen.
Thanks, Ivan. All right, guys, so moving right along here, who is your power team? Well, you've heard from all of us tonight, except Brett, but I was here on his behalf. So who are those people? Well, first is myself. is your real estate advisor here at Marshall Redick Real Estate. If you haven't spoken with one of us yet, I am available. My information is going to pop up here on your screen in just a couple minutes here. But we're going to walk you through the entire process. We're going to talk about your criteria, talk about what your goals are, and really help you select the best property to suit your needs. Who's next on your power team? That is Brett with AmeriFirst Financial. You need a strong lender. You need a good lender with a proven track record of getting the deals done. Quick sidebar, as I mentioned earlier, I represent buyers and sellers here in our local California market. And more I see on listings that they'll only accept offers from direct lenders. A lot of sellers don't even want to give any consideration to an offer that comes from a major bank because of the failure rate. So it's really important that you guys work with the right lender. Who's next on your power team? That is Clay Fleener out with Barrett Asset Management, finding you the best property, getting those contracts in for you, and making sure that your offers are getting accepted and that you're getting through the process as smoothly as possible. And finally is Ivan Barrett, also at Barrett Asset Management, and the management team. You're going to be with them for the long haul, and these are the people that are going to work with you and take you through that smoothly and easily so that you can be part of what we like to call our couch potato investing plan here. We want to make it as easy for you as possible, and that is only going to happen if you've got the best team working with you. Clay, let's take it to our last slide here. This is my information. Again, my name is Kristen Tabar. My phone number is right there, 949-885-5162. That's my direct line here in the office. If you call the main line, you may get me. You'll likely get Parker Roberts, my transaction coordinator, and he'll pass you on through. So fear not. When you call, you will find us. And my email address is up there too. I know a lot of you investors are out working, building up that investment capital, and if email is easiest for you, email is easiest for me. And that address is ctabar@marshallredick.com. So any way that works for you guys works for me. We'll get you in touch with Clay. You got his information here tonight too. Like I mentioned, we'll be following up with everybody tomorrow, making sure those questions get answered. And on behalf of Ivan Barrett and Clay Fleener, I would like to thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. I'm really glad you could spend the last hour chatting about one of my favorite markets. No Clay's favorite market, because he is our boots on the ground there. And we look forward to speaking with every single one of you guys. So thank you very much, and have a great rest of your evening. Clay, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you, everyone.
Night, everybody.